This is a pre-market analysis of 1st of April. So it looks like today's setup is very interesting because overnight sentiments have completely flipped, from a kind of fear to a kind of relief rally mode. So if you look at the, possible opening, it could be a big gap up, something which we can get. Gift Nifty is indicating around 22,900 level. Remember, at one point yesterday, we touched almost 22,300 and we were talking about moving to 22,000. But now the sentiments have completely changed and Gift Nifty have almost touched 22,900. And if you equate that with the underlying Nifty, the same underlying Nifty futures is equal to Gift Nifty, but it is traded in different exchanges. Gift Nifty is traded in a subsidiary exchange of NSE. That's the only difference. Both are having the underlying Nifty. So if you adjust the premium, I think this is looking like a 400-point gap up opening is what we are going to get. The reason is like a potential de-escalation in the Middle East, and there are some positives which are actually coming. And if you look at the major trigger, Iran is also signaling exit. So far, Iran was looking very strong, but Iranian president spoke with European Council President, Antonio Costa, and in that, Iran said Iran wants way out of the war, and Iran is ready to end conflict with US and Israel. But again, there is a condition only if credible guarantees of any future attacks, right? If that is the case, then Iran will withdraw from the war and the conflict. So it's very important because this is the first time you are getting a very clear signal that they are willing to end the war. So they are showing their willingness to end the war, and that itself is a very positive because now everything is connected with crude, and the crude prices also started slowing down because at least Iran now for the first time have shown their willingness to end the war if there is a proper credible guarantee from international organizations that there is no future attacks. Now, why this is a big development, if you ask? Earlier, we have seen peace talks, by with the mediation of Pakistan, Pakistan, and in fact, it was like not much trust for Iran also. Now, the difference is it's not Pakistan, it's not India also. The European Union is involved. So that is basically adding that credibility to negotiation, right? And it's look like if you interpret this from the market perspective, it is a very strong positive. Now coming to Trump's statement. So, Trump have posted that the countries who are unable to get the jet fuel, they can buy from US. And he also said that the countries must have to learn to fight for themselves. And you should be like self, dependent or independent so that in such kind of scenarios, you won't get affected. And, it's not that US will come to support you always. But as of now, if you are suffering or unable to get the jet fuel, you can buy from US. So the interpretation is basically, you can take it in this way. He's also allowing US to mediate peace. So from both sides, there are some, signals that are coming that the war can come to an end. There can be peace, which can follow. An additional statement was there. Trump have given to New York Post that the war may not last much longer. So it could be either a peace or it is going to end in any way, right? And the Strait of Hormuz, which is very important point, will reopen automatically. So this also has been clarified by Trump. So if you look at the combined impact, the three positives there. On one side, Iran is ready to end the war. That's the biggest positive out of all these that I would say, because Trump keep talking about ending the war in these days, a ceasefire and all those things. So we are not listening to Trump much, but we are connecting. Iran is willing to end the war for the first time, and European Union involvement, that is very credible. Unlike Pakistan's or even India's involvement, our media will highlight, but there is of no use. Other worlds are not giving too much care to India or India's prime minister also. That's a different story. Now, the Trump was indicating, war may end soon. So these are the three, if you add together, that is giving a strong optimism. Because of that, oil market, you see oil have dropped 4%. WTI now, at one point, it went very higher. Now it is trading at around 105. And Brent crude is trading at 103. So earlier, I think it touched almost 110. Right, 100 itself is a psychological level. Even now, also, it is above the psychological level. But I'm expecting that today it will again further come down. Because of that, US market have rallied strongly. Dow Jones 2.5%, S&P almost 3%, Nasdaq almost 4%, 3.8%. And that's not, some specific rally. It's a broad-based rally. Everywhere, every index, every stocks also rallied. Again, if you see volatility index, VIX have fallen 17.5%. Last day we discussed it's 31, that have reduced to 25. That's a big relief signal. Coming to Indian ADR also, ADRs are looking positive, and ADRs means American Depository Receipts. For example, HDFC Bank in India, it's traded in our stock exchange, right? It is in BSE, NSE. Similarly, it is traded in the other markets also. So the way it is traded in US market is what ADR. Now, you cannot have the same item traded at a different price. That is what you call as arbitrage, the price difference. So this arbitrage correction will be there. So at one point, both should come in equilibrium. So if there is a gain of 2% over there, you can sell there and you can buy back here, right, at a 2% less. But that won't happen. Even if that happen, automatically what will be there, when that keep on happening, so here buying back will come, there selling will come, right? So automatically the price will get adjusted and come to an equilibrium. So that's what you mean by arbitrage correction. But still, we are looking for a positive opening only. Indian markets was closed on the last day. So we are expecting all these global cues will be reflected in today's market, and it's a very fresh positive signal. ADRs are positive. HDFC, also there is a specific news, the MD and the CEO's reappointment. That's the third term that is actually positive, because there is a management continuity. So that is again positive. Apart from that, there are some other positives also there, that is stock specific, that I'm not getting into that, right? Reliance, if you see the diesel export data, India exported 1 million metric tons, right? 50% it went to Singapore, 90% is shipped by Reliance. That's the Jamnagar refinery. So that is very strong for Reliance, very strong positive for Reliance. So today I think HDFC and Reliance can be, leading the rally. Coming to the institutions, last day, FII sold almost 11,150 crore. March end, financial year end, expiry day. So the combined selling in March itself is almost 1 lakh 10,000 crore by FIS, which is huge, right? Which is like crazy selling in just 1 month, 1 lakh 10,000 crore. And last day of the financial year alone, they sold for 11,150. There is no indication that they are having any inclination to buy from Indian market. But DIAs have completely absorbed the pressure. They bought for almost 15,000 crore, but still we have seen the way market have fallen. The question is how DIAs can buy all these. Now, if only DIAs are buying, who are they? It is you, me, right? We are buying. We keep buying means it's just, even if it is from where they get the money, mutual funds. We are going with SIPs, mutual funds. So how long we keep doing it, till that time market keep going up. Right, it's not that if FIS is not coming, you are not going to get that bigger return, because almost 6 lakh crore is gone from the market. 6 lakh crore gone from the market, out of which 1.1 lakh crore gone in the month of March. So things are looking very difficult. Now it's between you and me. So I'm investing, you are investing. Because of that, the market is going up. So at a higher point, if someone is booking, he'll get the profit. And then, it looks like this is now going to be a cycle unless FIAs are coming back. So government have to do something, that we can do a separate video. So there is a very strong DIA absorption because of your money, because of my money, because of, retailers' money. You see, that's the kind of buying we have seen on last day. 15,000 crore. FII sold for 11,000. Because, of course, when you see from DIS perspective, or even from my perspective also, I look at the market, I'm getting at 22,300 level, which is a very good valuation for Nifty. So there is no problem, right? I'm buying there. Even I also bought. So DIS also bought. For me, there is no need to directly, go with mutual fund and giving them their commission. Of course, mutual fund is there, the mediation or commission. I can directly buy, I can analyze the quality stocks, and I can add to my portfolio, and I can pledge that, I can sell options. So that's how I do it. Okay. Now coming to open interest, if you look at, because of expiry itself, future OI 8% unwinding was there, and remaining 82% actually rolled over to April expiry. So the rolling over will be there. Options, if you see, call OI 52% unwinding, put OI 52% unwinding or expired. Put call ratio PCR is around 0.91. That is unchanged, but after today, it can change to slightly bullishness because of the sentiments. I think call open interest, will reduce, and put open interest will come higher today, looking at the market setup. So if you look at the participant positioning, as of now, the clients are 34% bullish, FII is 26.5% bearish, prop traders are 6.5% bearish, and expiry is just over. So we will be seeing today the fresh positions will be built right? It's a first day, so the fresh positions will come. I think more puts will come at the support level. Like now, 22,500 could be a support, 22,000 could be a support. These levels, aggressive puts will come because of this development. So market is still driven by geopolitics and oil. There is no question about that. There is another big trouble, that is a rupee depreciation hitting all-time low. So the only positive signal as of now, exit route from the war. Big negative is FII sold almost 1.1 lakh crore, right? So there is a key sentiment shift as of now, which is positive. There was a big fear in the market that has now turned to a kind of relief. So very important day. There are some events to watch also, the business updates, right? And then the March auto sales data, very important. And tonight, US manufacturing PMI, retail sales data, crude oil inventory, very important. So very simple. If you are seeing crude oil inventory, the data, if inventory is coming lesser than expected, then what is going to happen? Price will go up because supply is less, inventory is coming more than expected, price will come down. So based on that also, you can take a trade. Very simple, again, depending upon the supply demand. Coming to Nifty technicals, last day 270-point gap down, and then it made a high of around 22,710, but closed at around 22,300, which is now getting very close to that last year, the dip which we have got, 21,800 level. So the pattern again, a long, deep red candle, big upper shadow, any upside moves getting sold off. But today I think they are going to open above that, which is looking positive. So structure is still below 200 EMA, 100 EMA, lower high, that lower low, that is still intact. Moving averages are trending downside. RSI is below 40. Important resistance, if you consider that day, 22,500, 22,700, but the opening will be above that. So 23,000 will be the resistance. Now support is at 22,000, 21,700, 21,800 if you look at the previous level, 22,200 also. But now I think it will shift to 22,500. So 23,000 is the resistance for today. If the opening is around 22,700 level, 22,500 is going to be the support for today. Coming to Bank Nifty, last day 750-point gap down and high of 51,620 and closed at around 52,80. Again, a big long red candle. Big selling is what you see, still below 200 EMA, and the downtrend is intact. And even they broke that 78.6% Fibonacci level also. The resistance is at around 50,600 to 700 level, and the support is at 49,900, 49,800 level. Now coming to options data, open interest, maximum call wise at 23,000, followed by 22,500. That 22,500 could be shifted today because of this gap up. And then 23,200 also. Fresh writing came at 22,500. Those were the straddle players, might be shifting today. We need to see how the move is happening, whether the up move is getting stalled off by FIIs, we don't know. Or new financial year, they'll start buyers, we don't know. Chances very less as long as rupee is depreciating also. So 23,000 is the major one, that even technically also, psychologically also, open interest base also 23,000. Support, put writing is also coming at around 22,500. 22 is where maximum, that should be the strongest support. And then even 22,500 is there. So fresh writing 22,500, 22,000, 22,300. So today, 22,300, 22,500, these are support levels, but 22,500 is what you can rely more because 22,700 is where it is opening. So 22,500 is the support, 23,000 is the major resistance. If you get at these levels, you can try for reversal trades also. If you get the pullback to lower level 22,500, you can buy. If you get a bounce to 23,000, you can sell also. Right, so the expected range, a big range if I need to take 22,000 to 23,000. If I take a small range, 22,500 to 23,000. And the breakout of these will decide the further direction, right? So overall, overnight, there's a big, massive sentiment shift from fear to relief. So the war, if you see, there is a possible de-escalation. Oil prices falling, which is very good. US market have given a strong rally, which is good. VIX have given a sharp drop of 17% from 31 to 25. US VIX, that's very good. Last day, India VIX also went to 28. I think it will probably come down today. So the result is what we can look for is 400-point gap. But remember, this is still, you know, expectation driven move. It's still news driven move. This is still based on assumption. There is no final resolution, right? So you need to keep watching oil, how is it going? How is it behaving? Oil sustainability is still important. And then fresh geopolitical headlines, if it comes, Trump is saying something, you, you know, uh, there is nothing much to talk about that. So be very careful with those. Okay. Now, if you would like to join our live market mentoring sessions, we have the sessions during the market where I trade. I teach based on my trades. If you would like to, you can get in touch with us. See you there.